Okay, start seated here. Legs crossed, one in front of the other. Doesn't matter which one. But go ahead and check in with the knees. Any pulling sensations, tugging today. Just going to grab the blocks at any point underneath. When you're tipping over, forward or backward, also grab the blankets, get a little lift, go from there. So let's go, hands to the lap, palms up. Don't really change anything just yet. Going to take just a bit of time to distance from the outside. Slow down that forward momentum that's been building all day. Check in to see where we are right now, right here. What the body needs. So go ahead and check in with the body. Really checking in, peeking in on those spots that tend to build tension during the day. Maybe shoulders and neck. Carry a lot in my feet. Just look for those places where they are now and what might show up during the hour. Shift that focus to the head space. Briefly chatting, a little bit annoyed by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Gonna try to set all that aside. Acknowledge it's there, let it go. And the breath, just getting that gauge, what it's like now, right after coming through the door. Now we'll start to grow that breath, extending the spine a little taller, extending the neck a little longer. Check in, you might need that bit of a tail tuck. Shoulders pulling down and away from the ears. We're going to take the right hand. We're going to place it outside this right hip. We're going to start to grow that breath just a little bit longer. Gradual depth on the breath. Stretch the body, stretch the breath. But on a bigger inhale, we're going to go ahead and extend those left fingertips toward the ceiling. Reaching out of that left shoulder. And on an exhale, maybe walking those right fingertips out. Pausing at that first point of resistance. Sending a couple big breaths there. You want that left side to be nice and long. Resistance starts to fade. Might try another centimeter. And let's go ahead and start to walk those fingers back up. We're going to go left hand outside this left hip this time. Big inhale, sending those right fingertips toward the sky, reaching. Exhaling, and curiously exploring depth on this side. Now, right side of the body, nice and long, right fingertips pulling directly out of that right hip. Sit bone is still grounded. Big breaths right there. And now we'll start to slowly walk those fingertips back up. Bringing that right hand down. Let's go arms down at the sides, fingers pulling out of those shoulders. Check in, make sure you still have that bit of a tail tuck. We're going to start to draw those small circles on the ceiling with the crown of the head. We're not looking for a big roll here. I want you to find the extension in every part of the circle. Clicking, popping, grinding, reduce the size. You don't want bone on bone, trying to create space. Let's reverse the direction of that circle. Focusing on that circle, go ahead and bring that breath back. Pause at any area of tension if you need to. Just take big breaths right into it. And then find that head upright back at center. Let's take the legs, let's switch the cross. Gonna maybe be that awkward leg in front now. Pulling, tugging, grab those blocks. Let's get it crumbs. We're gonna pause right there. Wanna grab a water? It's okay, it's done. It's new too, usually it's right here. That's a great example because that's going to be the loudest noise that you're going to pay attention to. Anytime it cramps, scale back or all the way out. Give it a break with some breaths. Let's take left hand to the inside of the left leg. So right about the knee there. We're going to go right hand outside the right hip again. We're going to extend tall, tailbones tucked. And on the exhale, maybe walking those fingers out. Maybe applying just a little pressure to the inside of that left leg. Look for where the resistance shows up. Wherever it shows up, that's where your body needs it. Let's go ahead and walk those fingers back up. Let's go left hand outside the left hip, right hand inside that right leg, extending tall, exhaling, maybe walking those fingers out on this side. You may notice side to side here, one's feels a lot tighter, or the range of motion's different. So just notice that, no judgment. Last breath here. Let's walk those fingertips back up. Only 2 more with the legs crossed. We're going to go fingers out front with this awkward side. Sit bones are going to stay rooted. We're going to extend through the spine. So fingertips here. Big inhale. Exhaling. Maybe walking those fingertips out. Only walking them forward as far as you can maintain that straight spine. Look for the resistance here with the knees, the back, the hip. Wherever you feel the stretch is where that body needs it. Let's go one more breath here. Let's slowly walk those hands or fingers back up. Let's take them wide behind. Mine are about 6-8 inches behind my hips there, about mat width. On an exhale, I'm going to send my chest toward the ceiling. Shoulders are moving back. Elbows are soft here. Just send some of those really big breaths into that open chest. One more right here. And then we'll walk those hands back. Let's send the legs slowly out front. Keep them winded up. Maybe give them a little shake. Let's do a point and flex of the toes. You can spread them apart, wiggle them around. Get some circulation there. Let's go both hands right behind the hips here. Fingers wide, get a grip. We're going to keep the elbows soft, but we're going to use both hands to support tall. And maybe on an exhale, you find a bit of a hinge forward. Trying to keep that spine straight. The legs start shaking. Go ahead and scale back. A lot of us are just right here upright. Takes a lot. Last big breath here. And then let's gently release. Let's go ahead and let's transition to hands and knees. Any way you get there is fine. I'm just going to pause and grab a water.
I didn't see anybody.
Thank you. I'm great. Let's check in right here. We've got shoulders over the elbows, over the wrists. Joints are all stacked. Hips are stacked directly over the knees. Elbows are soft. We're going to start by pulling the crown of the head in one direction and pulling the sit bones in the other. So just getting a nice extension there. Big breaths. On an exhale, going to start to send those shoulder blades in the direction of the ceiling, kind of hunching like a cat here. And then inhale, going to find that extension. Going to move to the rhythm of your own breath here. Just flowing back and forth. Shoulder blades up. And then extending, pulling that crown of the head away from the sit bones, pulling the shoulders back. And when you find yourself in that extended position again, go ahead and pause right there. Take 2 breaths right into there. We're going to come down. We're going to drop our forearms to the floor. And we're going to clasp our hands right in front. We're going to tuck the toes. There's going to be 2 versions of this one. We're going to tuck the toes. We're going to walk the feet back. Going to pull the crown of the head toward the wall in front. We're going to pull the heels toward the wall behind. Looking for a tabletop-like back. Version 2, you bring those knees down. You still press down on the mat, pulling the crown of the head forward. Big breaths. One more. And let's bring one knee down at a time. Unclasp the hands. Let's press back up to all fours. Fingers and hands gripping the mat. We're going to tuck the toes. We're going to send the hips in the direction of the ceiling. Chest toward the front of the thighs. Back of the thighs toward the wall behind. Heels in the direction of the floor. Gaze is between your feet. Might pedal out here, might lift one leg, then the other. And when you're ready, let's walk those feet in the direction of the hands. And then let's roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Find yourself standing there. Let's go feet about hip width. Pick up the toes, get a bit of a grip on the mat there. Soften the knees. Check in with both those knees. I have a tendency of blocking out only the right one. Might be something similar for you. Let's tuck the tailbone. Let's go arms down by the sides. Fingertips pulling down toward the floor, crown of the head pulling toward the sky. Just a few breaths right here. Rooted to the floor, but reaching for the stars. Let's take the hands all the way up. Clasp the hands and let's send the palms in the direction of the ceiling. Try to relax those shoulders. Notice what happened there with the tailbone. Might need a bit of a tuck. One more big breath here. Let's release those hands. Let's send them behind. Clasp the palms. Knuckles in the direction of the floor. Crown of the head in the direction of the ceiling. primary movement here, shoulders are back. Go ahead and check in with those toes. See if they're gripping. It strengthens the knees. Last big breath here. Let's gently release. Let's do a balancing posture. It can be on the mat or the floor, whatever you prefer. First, find something you might want to focus on that's not moving. We're going to start here. We're going to take the left heel and we're going to see if we can park it against this right ankle. Now when I start to do that, you may have seen my hip automatically collapse. I'm going to straighten that hip. I'm going to go arms down by the sides to start. I'm going to keep that right hip straight. I'm going to keep my right knee soft. I'm going to start to pick up this left foot to the inside of that right calf. Foot may come down 100 times. Might take those arms up. You want to find a place that's wobbly. If you're not wobbly, you might want to pick that foot up a little higher. Just keep breathing here. Check in with that hip. Probably feel some strengthening going on right there just from that portion. Let's take the arms wide. Reach the right fingertips away from those left fingertips. And let's go ahead and bring that foot down. Bring those arms down. Give those hips a good shake. And shake it off if you need to. Brand new side. Gonna go ahead and bring that right ankle this time. Park it right against that left ankle. Left toes are gripping. Focusing on this hip. You're pretending to square up against an imaginary wall here. Not gonna be all the way there, but that's the direction we want to move. When you're ready, you can pick that right foot up. Check in with that hip. Soften that knee. Bring that breath back. All these things make it a lot more challenging. Take those hands above, palms together there. Check in with that hip. Bring that breath back. Grip with those toes. Not wobbly, take it up a little higher. Last breath here. Let's take those hands out wide. Fingertips pulling away from one another. And then finally bringing that foot back down. Bringing those arms down. Getting a good shake. Let's go again. Feet about hip width. Let's go hands to the front of the thighs here. Soft knees, tailbones tucked. Inhale, growing tall. Exhaling, hinging forward. Not going to round or fold right now. Tabletop like straight spine. Apply a little pressure to the legs maybe. Pull those sit bones in one direction. Pull the crown of the head in the other. Send some of those breaths directly to those vertebrae. Clean out some of that plaque between. Let's inhale. Strong spine back up. Let's go arms wide here, up by the sides. On an exhale, going to start to bring that right arm forward. Going to move it across the body. Going to angle it to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Left hand behind that right elbow. Exhaling and a gentle push. Big breaths. Last one here. Let's take the arms out wide again. We're going to extend them, making our wingspan as long as possible. We're going to counter, sending the fingers toward the wall behind. Bit of opening on that chest. Big breaths. We're going to start to bring that left hand forward this time. Crossing the body. Angling it so the ceiling, where the ceiling and wall meet, right hand behind the left. Gentle push. One more breath right here. Releasing that left arm, sending them out wide again. Let's counter one more time. Fingers toward the wall behind. Chest open a little, tucking that tailbone. And then we'll bring them out to the sides one more time. Let's turn the palms so that they're going to face the wall behind. Just getting a little rotation there, moving that direction. And then let's go the other. So pinkies are moving toward the ceiling there. And then straight out. And then down by the sides. Let's get those shoulders a few rolls forward. Might be a little tired. Clicking, popping, or grinding, make it smaller. Let's reverse. And rest right there at center. We're gonna start to send the hips down and back as we send the arms forward. So we're gonna reach forward with our fingertips, going like we're sitting in a chair here. I want you to peek down, make sure you can see those ankles, those toes. If you can't, go ahead and scale back. Just strengthening joints here and muscles. Let's send the arms behind so fingers are reaching back toward those hips. And we're going to inhale, and on the inhale, we're going to add some dynamic movement. We're going to bring those arms forward and up to a touchdown-like posture and pick our heels up off the floor. Tuck the tailbone. Let's keep those knees soft. It's not about how high the heels are from the floor. It's finding that place that's wobbly. We're going to Exhale, we're going to send the hips down and back, reaching back with those fingertips. You're going to move to the rhythm of your own breath here. So inhaling, heels up. Exhaling, finding that chair posture again, peeking at the toes, projecting out of the shoulders. You don't have to move with my rhythm or your neighbors. You need a little energy. You might go a little faster here. Don't forget all those good extensions. When you find yourself up on the toes again, go ahead and hold. Don't lose that breath. Might have picked up a little, but keep it. Hands to the center of the chest. Let's bring those heels down. Arms down by the sides. Let's take the arms up. Just fingertips here, lower part of the neck. Tuck the tailbone. Soften the knees, grip with the toes. Exhaling. Chest in the direction of the ceiling. Elbows and shoulders moving back. Breathing big. Let's take the hands a little bit higher. Clasp the palms. Elbows forward. Exhaling, dropping that chin in the direction of the chest. Relax those shoulders. Don't push on the head here. Natural weight and gravity. Let's bring that head back upright. Let's take those arms, send them out front. Let's send the palms in the direction of the wall in front. Pulling those shoulder blades back one more time. Check in with the middle and lower back. Want to keep those pretty straight. Let's turn the palms so that the palms face us. And then just bring the hands back down by the sides. Actually, let's send them behind. Heels of the palms, lower back. Exhaling, shoulders back. Elbows back, chest opening. Big breaths. Oops, sorry. It's okay. And then let's gently release. Let's cross the right foot over the left so that the outsides of the feet are close or touching. Grip with those toes, trying to get some balance there. Tuck that tailbone. We're going to go hands to the front of the thighs. We're going to inhale tall. We're going to exhale, hinging forward again here. Sending the sit bones back. Crown of the head forward. Check in right here. See if you've gone beyond that, beyond the body's boundary. If you have, scale back a little. Let's inhale, straight spine, back upright. Slowly uncrossing that foot. Adjusting, bringing that left foot around. Settling in, how's that tailbone? Still want those knees to be soft. Still want to be really tall here. Once you have some stability, exhaling, hinging forward. Keep those sit bones pulling back, crown of head pulling forward. Sending breath to clean out the plaque. Let's inhale back up to center. Uncrossing that foot. Let's take them wide, maybe about mat width, depending on the length of your legs. Aren't very, kind of like mine. Might have to find that stance here. Tuck that tailbone. Knees are still soft. We're going to put the left hand on that left hip. We're going to extend the right fingers tall. We're going to reach those right fingertips directly out of that shoulder. Exhaling, leaning left. Slow movements there, checking in with that back. Finding that place where you can still breathe big. No prior pain is being amplified. Body's not locking up. Let's windmill that right hand back to the right hip here. Tailbones tucked, soft knees, left fingertips reaching tall. Pulling those left fingers directly out of that left shoulder. Exhaling, maybe leaning right. Directly out of that left hip, nice long side. Not collapsing or folding for more. Looking for space in the body. We stretch to create space. Last breath here. Let's bring that left arm back around. Let's keep the feet wider, maybe even a little bit more so. Tuck the tailbone, soft knees, hands to the front of the thighs. Exhaling, hinging forward. Only difference here, wider stance. Notice how it changes things up. If you have a lot of range of motion here and you find you can reach the floor or a block, you might grab that block and you can walk that block forward as you pull those sit bones back. Taking big breaths right there. And then when you're ready, walking that block back up if you grab one. And then hands back to the front of those legs. One more extension right there. And then we're going to bring that strong torso up once again. You'll never see more than 1 or 2 down dogs in a class. Go ahead and check in with those wrists. Anything going on there? Feel free to just go to the mat any way that works for you, but I'll walk you through a down dog. We're going to extend first, and then we're going to dead hang briefly, get some bit of stretch in the back of those legs. And then we'll down dog back to the floor. So feet are about hip width, hands to the front of the thighs. Big inhale, exhaling, hinging forward. Hinging just as long as you can here. Before finding that fold, just allow that torso to be really heavy here. You might rock side to side. You might grab elbows here. Side to side rock. Shift the weight, toes, maybe heels. And then we're going to bend the knees. We're going to go hands, fingers to the mat, gripping. We're going to walk the feet back. Hips toward the ceiling. Chest toward the front of the thighs. Back of the thighs toward the wall behind. Gaze between your feet. Maybe pedal out here again. See how this down dog might be different from the other. Two options coming up here. We're going to start to shift our weight so that it's coming onto the arms and hands. Need a little strength here. You can slowly drop the chest to the floor. Like a push-up. Or you can bring those knees down softly. And then we'll be right here on our tummies and chest. Let's take the arms just up by the head. And let's place one cheek on the ground, on the mat. Make your body really heavy right here on the mat. Relax those shoulders. Relax the arms here. Try to relax the head and the neck here. Let's switch to the other cheek. Let's do the same thing again right here. Try to relax that chest, the shoulders, the arms. Let's start to pick that head up. Let's go back to forearms here on the mat. So forearms touching the mat, fingers also, fingers and palms. Actually, let's clasp them here. Let's tuck the toes. And let's try to send those hips in off the floor here. So pulling those heels in one direction, pulling the head in the other. You can bring those knees down, still get a lot of that strength work. And wherever you are, go ahead and bring those knees down. Let's go forearms. You can unclasp those hands. So hips are back on the ground, forearms, palms and fingers gripping. On an exhale, use the strength of your arms to press down on the mat and pull the crown of your head forward. Pull the shoulders back. And then let's go back down onto the awkward cheek here. Just for a few breaths. Let's take the hands back to the mat. We're going to press up here, back to hands and knees. We're going to square the hips right over the knees. Shoulders are over soft elbows, over wrists, fingers are wide, gripping. On an inhale, we're going to take that right hand, we're going to send those right fingers in the direction of the ceiling. And we're going to exhale, we're going to drop that right arm. We're going to send it beneath the left, sending that right shoulder in the direction of the floor. Breathing big here. If you need, you can take that left hand from the mat and you can place it on the small of your back. With that palm up. Optional. Might sway the hips side to side here. Feel a little bit of difference in the stretch. And when you're ready, let's bring that left hand back down to the mat if you have it on the back. Supporting yourself up slowly to hands and knees. Pull the crown of the head forward, pull those sit bones back. Just resetting the spine there. We're going to inhale, sending those left fingertips in the direction of the ceiling. We're going to exhale. Threading that left hand beneath the right, sending that left shoulder in the direction of the floor. Maybe taking that right hand, placing it on the small of the back. And then we're going to slowly bring that right hand back around if it is on the small of the back. And we're going to use that right hand to support up. Unthreading that left hand. We're going to take the knees, we're going to place them together here. And we're going to sit back slowly onto the heels. Supporting ourselves up. Want you to check in right there. We're looking to get a bit of a stretch on the front of those ankles, maybe the shins. That's okay. You might even reach back, gently lifting the knees, but stopping at the body's boundary, whenever you feel that. And let's bring those knees back down here. We're going to do one more for the hips. From right here, we're going to go down onto our right hip. So just bring that right hip down to the floor right there. If it's really awkward, you'll be able to support yourself up a little. Only if you're tipping over do you need to do that. We're going to start to send this left foot back. So the right hip grounded to the floor. That left leg is moving in the direction of straight. And we're going to try to roll onto the top of that left foot as much as possible. It's just better for the knee. Square the torso up over this right knee. Relax that back leg. And on an exhale, maybe walking those hands forward. Relax that back foot. Relax that jaw, relax that hip. If you find you're all the way down to forearms here, need a little more, you can take the left hand, you can thread it beneath the right, and you can send that left shoulder in the direction of the floor. Might notice some things change there. So go ahead and relax that jaw again, relax that back leg. This is an excellent posture for the lower back. I know I say that almost every time we do this one. It's just a reminder that even though you feel it in one place, it's benefiting much more. Mind's going to wander here. Tend to hold these a little bit longer. Bigger muscles. Just keep bringing that focus back to the breath. And where you feel it, where you feel the posture in the body, body's changing, it's adapting. Might give you more depth, might tell you it's time to scale back. Just a couple more big breaths on this side. And if that arm's threaded, you can unwind there. Slowly start to walk those hands back up. Try something a little different. Gonna keep that knee right. Stay right like you are there. Let's see. Gonna start to bring this left leg forward. We're gonna keep the right as it is. And we're gonna see if we can send this left foot across the right knee. We're going to go left hand behind, fingers wide, actively gripping, support tall. Right hand outside this left knee. Exhaling, twisting toward the left. You're only twisting as far as you can keep that spine nice and straight. Just one more big breath here. And then we're going to slowly unwind. I'm crossing this left foot. Slowly bringing this right foot around. And then transitioning to this other side. So left foot will be in a tight bend here. Right leg moving in the direction of straight. Just wedging that blanket. If you find you're tipping over, relax that back leg and that foot. Square the torso over that left knee. Exhaling, maybe walking those hands through. Relax that rib cage. Relax that back foot. Relax the lips. Relax that right arm. Need a little more? You can take that right hand, you can thread it beneath the left, sending that right shoulder in the direction of the floor. Relax that left hip. Inhale, assessing. Exhaling. Maybe another centimeter. Maybe scaling back. Notice how it might, resistance fades a little. Got to be observing to notice those. Notice what's tightened up. Go ahead and relax it. Just a few more big breaths on this side. Making a mental note of how they may have been different from side to side. Homework is always to spend a bit more time on the side with less range of motion. Doesn't ever mean neglect the other side. It just means spend a little more time there. When you're ready, go ahead and start to walk those hands back up. Slowly bring this right leg around, mindful of that right knee especially. We're going to check, we're going to see if we can cross it over that left. If we can, we're going to go right hand behind, fingers wide, gripping, tall. Left hand outside right knee. Exhaling, twisting right. Following with your gaze. Last big breath right here. Let's gently unwind. Uncrossing that foot. Being mindful of this left knee as we bring it forward. Just a couple more here. Soles of the feet right in front on the mat. We're going to extend the fingers out long. Fingers pulling out of those shoulders. We're going to lean back and we're going to bring our feet off the floor here. Keep breathing right there. If you need a little more, you can start to straighten those legs. They start shaking. You're going to scale them back, or all the way back down to the mat even. Let's go ahead. Those feet are still up. Maybe one more big breath. And then bringing them down, you can either go all the way onto your back as slowly as you can from here, or you can grab the shins and roll back onto the back slowly. Just to reset those backs here from that twist, we're going to bring the soles of the feet, we're going to send them toward the ceiling. We're going to reach around with our hands and we're going to grab the outsides of our feet if that's accessible. Gonna pull the knees in the direction of the rib cage. Notice how that lower back is connected to the floor. One more big breath here. And then bringing the soles of the feet back down to the mat. Walking the legs out long till the heels are on the floor. And we're going to let the feet fall like they will, going into our final posture here. Arms may be at the sides, palms up, or they might be on the belly. Going to come around with the bolsters. You're welcome. Bolsters are really good for allowing that lower back to settle on the floor, especially those of you that have a few lower back issues. And relax every part of your body. Coming as heavy as you can right there. Go ahead and check in with that body again now. Those things that snuck up during the hour. Those things that you noticed before we started. Body's a lot different than it was when you started. Sorry about that. At least it's peaceful. It's peaceful. Shift that focus again once more to that head space. You started with some stress or that annoyance. Where are those now? And the breath. Just let the breath do what it wants to do now.